The book of 1 Kings, chapter 1. Now King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. Wherefore his servants said unto him, Let there be sought for my lord the king a young virgin, and let her stand before the king, and cherish him, and let her lie in your bosom, that my lord the king may get heat. So they sought for a fair damsel throughout all the borders of Israel, and found Abishag the Shunammite, and brought her to the king. And the damsel was very fair, and she cherished the king and ministered to him, but the king knew her not. Then Adonijah the son of Haggith exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. And his father had not displeased him at any time in saying, Why have you done this? And he was also a very goodly man, and he was born after Absalom. And he conferred with Joab the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest, and they following Adonijah helped him. But Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei, and Rei, and the mighty men that belonged to David were not with Adonijah. And Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fatlings by the stone of Zoheleth, which is beside En-Rogel. And he called all his brethren, the king's sons, and all the men of Judah, the king's servants. But Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah, and the mighty men, and Solomon his brother, he called not. Then Nathan spoke to Bathsheba the mother of Solomon, saying, Have you not heard that Adonijah the son of Haggith is reigning, and David our Lord knows it not? Now therefore come, let me, I pray you, give you counsel, that you may save your own life, and the life of your son Solomon. Go and get you in unto King David, and say to him, Did you not, my lord, O king, swear unto your handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon your son shall reign after you, and he shall sit upon your throne? Why then does Adonijah reign? Behold, while you yet talk there with the king, I also will come in after you, and confirm your words. And Bathsheba went in unto the king into the chamber, and the king was very old. And Abishag the Shunammite was ministering unto the king. And Bathsheba bowed, and did obeisance unto the king. And the king said, What would you? And she said to him, My lord, you swore by Jehovah your God unto your handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon your son shall reign after you, and he shall sit upon your throne. And now, behold, Adonijah reigns, and you, my lord the king, know it not. And he has slain oxen and fatlings and sheep in abundance, and has called all the sons of the king, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the captain of the host. But Solomon your servant he has not called. And you, my lord the king, the eyes of all Israel are upon you, that you should tell them who shall sit on the throne of my lord the king after him. Otherwise it will come to pass, when my lord the king shall sleep with his fathers, that I and my son Solomon shall be counted offenders. And lo, while she yet talked with the king, Nathan the prophet came in. And they told the king, saying, Behold, Nathan the prophet. And when he was come in before the king, he bowed himself before the king with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, My lord, O king, have you said, Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? For he has gone down this day, and has slain oxen and fatlings and sheep in abundance, and has called all the king's sons, and the captains of the host, and Abiathar the priest. And behold, they are eating and drinking before him, and say, Long live King Adonijah. But me, even me your servant, and Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and your servant Solomon, has he not called? Is this thing done by my lord the king, and you have not showed unto your servants who should sit on the throne of my lord the king after him? Then King David answered and said, Call to me Bathsheba. And she came into the king's presence, and stood before the king. And the king swore, and said, As Jehovah lives, who has redeemed my soul out of all adversity, verily as I swear unto you by Jehovah the God of Israel, saying, Assuredly Solomon your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne in my stead. Verily so will I do this day. Then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth, and did obeisance to the king, and said, Let my lord King David live forever. And King David said, Call to me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada. And they came before the king. And the king said unto them, Take with you the servants of your Lord, and cause Solomon my son to ride upon my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there king over Israel. And blow you the trumpet, and say, Long live King Solomon. Then you shall come up after him, and he shall come and sit upon my throne, for he shall be king in my stead. And I have appointed him to be prince over Israel and over Judah. And Benaiah the son of Jehoiada answered the king, and said, Amen. Jehovah, the God of my lord the king, say so too. As Jehovah hath been with my lord the king, even so be he with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my lord King David. So Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and the Kerethites and the Pelethites went down, and caused Solomon to ride upon King David's mule, and brought him to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took the horn of oil out of the tent, and anointed Solomon. And they blew the trumpet, and all the people said, Long live King Solomon. And all the people came up after him, and the people piped with pipes, and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them. And Adonijah and all the guests that were with him heard it, as they had made an end of eating. And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, Wherefore is this noise of the city being in an uproar? While he yet spoke, behold, Jonathan the son of Abiathar the priest came, and Adonijah said, Come in, for you are a worthy man, and bring good tidings. And Jonathan answered and said to Adonijah, Verily our Lord King David has made Solomon king, and the king has sent with him Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and they have caused him to ride upon the king's mule. And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet have anointed him king in Gihon, and they are come up from there rejoicing, so that the city rang again. This is the noise that you have heard. And also Solomon sits on the throne of the kingdom. And moreover the king's servants came to bless our Lord King David, saying, Your God make the name of Solomon better than your name, and make his throne greater than your throne. And the king bowed himself upon the bed. And also thus said the king, Blessed be Jehovah, the God of Israel, who has given one to sit on my throne this day, my eyes having seen it. And all the guests of Adonijah were afraid, and rose up, and went every man his way. And Adonijah feared because of Solomon. And he arose, and went, and caught hold on the horns of the altar. And it was told Solomon, saying, Behold, Adonijah fears King Solomon. For lo, he has laid hold on the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear unto me first, that he will not slay his servant with the sword. And Solomon said, If he shall show himself a worthy man, there shall not a hair of him fall to the earth. But if wickedness be found in him, he shall die. So King Solomon sent, and they brought him down from the altar. And he came and did obeisance to King Solomon. And Solomon said unto him, Go to your house. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 2. Now the days of David drew near that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I am going the way of all the earth. Be you strong, therefore, and show yourself a man, and keep the charge of Jehovah your God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, and his commandments, and his ordinances, and his testimonies, according to that which is written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do, and wherever you turn yourself, that Jehovah may establish his word which he spoke concerning me, saying, If your children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth, with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail you, said he, a man on the throne of Israel. Moreover, you know also what Joab the son of Zeruiah did unto me, even what he did to the two captains of the hosts of Israel, unto Abner the son of Ner, and unto Amasa the son of Jether, whom he slew, and shed the blood of war in peace, and put the blood of war upon his girdle that was about his loins, and in his shoes that were on his feet. Do therefore according to your wisdom, and let not his hoary head go down to Sheol in peace. But show kindness unto the sons of Barzillai the Gileadite, and let them be of those that eat at your table. For so they came to me when I fled from Absalom your brother. And behold, there is with you Shimei the son of Gera, the Benjamite of Bahurim, who cursed me with a grievous curse in the day when I went to Mahanaim. But he came down to meet me at the Jordan, and I swore to him by Jehovah, saying, I will not put you to death with the sword. Now therefore hold him not guiltless, for you are a wise man, and you will know what you ought to do unto him. And you shall bring his whorehead down to Sheol with blood. And David slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David. And the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. 7 years reigned he in Hebron, and 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem. And Solomon sat upon the throne of David his father, and his kingdom was established greatly. Then Adonijah the son of Haggith came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon. And she said, Are you coming peaceably? And he said, Peaceably. He said, Moreover, I have somewhat to say to you. And she said, Say on. And he said, You know that the kingdom was mine, and that all Israel set their faces on me that I should reign. However, the kingdom is turned about, and is become my brother's, for this was from Jehovah. And now I ask one petition of you, deny me not. And she said unto him, Say on. And he said, Speak, I pray you, unto Solomon the king, for he will not say thee no, that he give me Abishag the Shunammite to wife. And Bathsheba said, Well, I will speak for you unto the king. Bathsheba therefore went unto King Solomon to speak unto him for Adonijah. And the king rose up to meet her, and bowed himself unto her, and sat down on his throne, and caused a throne to be set for the king's mother. And she sat on his right hand. Then she said, I ask one small petition of you. Do not deny me. And the king said unto her, Ask on, my mother, for I will not deny you. And she said, Let Abishag the Shunammite be given to Adonijah your brother to wife. And King Solomon answered and said unto his mother, And why do you ask Abishag the Shunammite for Adonijah? Ask for him the kingdom also, for he is my elder brother, even for him and for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah. Then King Solomon swore by Jehovah, saying, God do so to me and more also, if Adonijah has not spoken this word against his own life. Now therefore, as Jehovah lives, who has established me, and set me on the throne of David my father, and who has made me a house, as he promised, surely Adonijah shall be put to death this day. And King Solomon sent by Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and he fell upon him, so that he died. And unto Abiathar the priest said the king, Get you to Anathoth, unto your own fields, for you are worthy of death. But I will not at this time put you to death, because you bore the ark of the Lord Jehovah before David my father, and because you were afflicted in all wherein my father was afflicted. So Solomon thrust out Abiathar from being priest unto Jehovah, that he might fulfill the word of Jehovah, which he spoke concerning the house of Eli in Shiloh. And the tidings came to Joab. For Joab had turned after Adonijah, though he turned not after Absalom. And Joab fled unto the tent of Jehovah, and caught hold of the horns of the altar. And it was told King Solomon, Joab is fled unto the tent of Jehovah, and behold, he is by the altar. Then Solomon sent Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, saying, Go, fall upon him. And Benaiah came to the tent of Jehovah, and said unto him, Thus says the king, Come forth. And he said, No, but I will die here. And Benaiah brought the king word again, saying, Thus said Joab, and thus he answered me. And the king said unto him, Do as he has said, and fall upon him, and bury him, that you may take away the blood which Joab shed without cause, from me and from my father's house. And Jehovah will return his blood upon his own head, because he fell upon 2 men more righteous and better than he, and slew them with the sword. And my father David knew it not, namely, Abner the son of Ner, captain of the host of Israel, and Amasa the son of Jether, captain of the host of Judah. So shall their blood return upon the head of Joab, and upon the head of his seed forever. But unto David, and unto his seed, and unto his house, and unto his throne, shall there be peace forever from Jehovah. Then Benaiah the son of Jehoiada went up, and fell upon him, and slew him, and he was buried in his own house in the wilderness. And the king put Benaiah the son of Jehoiada in his room over the host, and Zadok the priest did the king put in the room of Abiathar. And the king sent and called for Shimei, and said unto him, Build you a house in Jerusalem, and dwell there, and go not forth from there anywhere. For on the day you go out, and pass over the brook Kidron, know for certain that you shall surely die. Your blood shall be upon your own head. And Shimei said unto the king, Your saying is good. As my lord the king has said, so will your servant do. And Shimei dwelt in Jerusalem many days. And it came to pass at the end of 3 years that 2 of the servants of Shimei ran away unto Achish, son of Maacah, king of Gath. And they told Shimei, saying, Behold, your servants are in Gath. And Shimei arose and saddled his ass, and went to Gath to Achish, to seek his servants. And Shimei went and brought his servants from Gath. And it was told Solomon that Shimei had gone from Jerusalem to Gath, and was come again. And the king sent and called for Shimei, and said unto him, Did I not adjure you by Jehovah, and protest unto you, saying, Know for certain that on the day you go out and walk abroad anywhere, you will surely die? And you said unto me, Your saying that I have heard is good. Why then have you not kept the oath of Jehovah, and the commandment that I charged you with? The king said moreover to Shimei, You know all the wickedness which your heart is privy to, that you did to David my father. Therefore Jehovah shall return your wickedness upon your own head. But King Solomon shall be blessed, and the throne of David shall be established before Jehovah forever. So the king commanded Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and he went out and fell upon him, so that he died. And the kingdom was established in the hand of Solomon. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 3. And Solomon made affinity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter, and brought her into the city of David, until he had made an end of building his own house, and the house of Jehovah, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Only the people sacrificed in the high places, because there was no house built for the name of Jehovah until those days. And Solomon loved Jehovah, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon that altar. In Gibeon Jehovah appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, Ask what I shall give you. And Solomon said, You have showed unto your servant David my father great loving kindness, according as he walked before you in truth and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with you. And you have kept for him this great loving kindness, that you have given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Jehovah my God, you have made your servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, which you have given, a great people, that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give your servant therefore an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this, your great people? And the speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said to him, Because you have asked this thing, and have not asked for yourself long life, neither have asked riches for yourself, nor have asked the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern justice. Behold, I have done according to your word. Lo, I have given you a wise and an understanding heart, so that there has been none like you before you, neither after you shall any rise like unto you. And I have also given you that which you have not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto you all your days. And if you will walk in my ways, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as your father David walked, then I will lengthen your days. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem, and stood before the ark of the covenant of Jehovah, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. Then there came 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. And one woman said, O my lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. And this woman's child died in the night, because she lay upon it. And she arose at midnight, and took my son from beside me, while your handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had looked at it in the morning, behold, it was not my son whom I bore. And the other woman said, No, but the living is my son, and the dead is your son. And this said, No, but the dead is your son, and the living is my son. Thus they spoke before the king. Then the king said, This one saith, This is my son that liveth, and your son is the dead. And the other says, No, but your son is the dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, Fetch me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in 2, and give half to the one, and half to the other. Then spoke the woman, whose son the living child was, unto the king, for her heart yearned over her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no way slay it. But the other said, It shall be neither mine nor thine. Divide it. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and by no means slay it. She is the true mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do justice. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 4. And King Solomon was king over all Israel. And these were the princes whom he had: Azariah the son of Zadok the priest, Elihoreph and Ahijah the sons of Shishah, scribes, Jehoshaphat the son of Ahilud the recorder, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the host, and Zadok and Abiathar were priests, and Azariah the son of Nathan was over the officers, and Zabud the son of Nathan was chief minister and the king's friend, and Ahishar was over the household, and Adoniram the son of Abda was over the men subject to taskwork. And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, who provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man had to make provision for a month in the year. And these are their names: Ben-Hur, in the hill country of Ephraim; Ben-Decker, in Makaz, and in Shaalbim, and Bet-Shemesh, and Elon Bet-Hanan; Ben-Hesed, in Aruboth; to him pertained Soko, and all the land of Hepher; Ben-Abinadab, in all the height of Dor; he had Taphoth the daughter of Solomon to wife; Baana the son of Ahilud, in Taanach and Megiddo, and in all Bet-Shan, which is beside Zarathan, beneath Jezreel, from Beit-Shan to Abel-Meholah, as far as beyond Jokmeam; Ben-Gaber, in Ramoth-Gilead; to him pertained the towns of Jair the son of Manasseh, which are in Gilead. Even to him pertained the region of Argob, which is in Bashan, 80 great cities with walls and brazen bars; Ahinadab the son of Iddo in Mahanaim; Ahimaaz in Naphtali; he also took Basemath the daughter of Solomon to wife; Baana the son of Hushai in Asher, and Baaloth; Jehoshaphat the son of Paruah in Issachar; Shimei the son of Elah in Benjamin; Geber the son of Uri in the land of Gilead, the country of Sihon king of the Amorites, and of Og king of Bashan; and he was the only officer that was in the land. Judah and Israel were many as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. And Solomon ruled over all the kingdoms from the river unto the land of the Philistines, and unto the border of Egypt. They brought tribute, and served Solomon all the days of his life. And Solomon's provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour, and 80 measures of meal, 10 fat oxen, and 20 oxen out of the pastures, and 100 sheep, besides harts and gazelles and roebucks and fatted fowl. For he had dominion over all the region on this side of the river, from Tifsa even to Gaza, over all the kings on this side of the river. And he had peace on all sides round about him. And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And those officers provided victuals for King Solomon, and for all that came unto King Solomon's table, every man in his month. They let nothing be lacking. Barley also and straw for the horses and swift steeds brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his charge. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east, and all the children of Egypt, for he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Haman, and Calcol, and Darda, the sons of Mahol. And his fame was in all the nations round about. And he spoke 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spoke of trees, from the cedar that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springs out of the wall. He spoke also of beasts, and of birds, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And there came of all peoples to hear the wisdom of Solomon from all kings of the earth, who had heard of his wisdom. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 5. And Hiram king of Tyre sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father, for Hiram was ever a lover of David. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, You know how my father David could not build a house for the name of Jehovah his God for the wars which were about him on every side, until Jehovah put them under the soles of his feet. But now Jehovah my God hath given me rest on every side. There is neither adversary nor evil occurrence. And behold, I purpose to build a house for the name of Jehovah my God, as Jehovah spoke unto David my father, saying, Your son, whom I will set upon your throne in your space, he shall build the house for my name. Now therefore command you that they cut me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servants shall be with your servants, and I will give you hire for your servants according to all that you shall say. For you know that there is not among us any that know how to cut timber, like unto the Sidonians. And it came to pass, when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, that he rejoiced greatly, and said, Blessed be Jehovah this day, who has given unto David a wise son over this great people. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have heard the message which you have sent to me. I will do all your desire concerning timber of cedar, and concerning timber of fir. My servants shall bring them down from Lebanon unto the sea, and I will make them into rafts to go by sea unto the place that you shall appoint me, and will cause them to be broken up there, and you shall receive them. And you shall accomplish my desire in giving food for my household. So Hiram gave Solomon timber of cedar and timber of fir according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat for food to his household, and 20 measures of pure oil. Thus gave Solomon to Hiram year by year. And Jehovah gave Solomon wisdom as he promised him. And there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and the two made a league together. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month by courses. A month they were in Lebanon, and 2 months at home. And Adoniram was over the men subject to taskwork. And Solomon had 70,000 that bore burdens, and 80,000 that were hewers in the mountains. Besides Solomon's chief officers that were over the work, 3,300, who bore rule over the people that wrought in the work. And the king commanded, and they hewed out great stones, costly stones, to lay the foundation of the house with wrought stone. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders and the Gabalites did fashion them, and prepared the timber and the stones to build the house. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 6. And it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month Ziv, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of Jehovah. And the house which King Solomon built for Jehovah was 60 cubits in length. Its breadth was 20 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. And the porch before the temple of the house was 20 cubits in length, equal to the width of the house, and 10 cubits deep in front of the house. And for the house he made windows of fixed lattice work. And against the wall of the house he built stories round about, against the walls of the house round about, both of the temple and of the oracle. And he made side chambers round about. The nethermost story was 5 cubits broad, and the middle was 6 cubits broad, and the third was 7 cubits broad. For on the outside he made offsets in the wall of the house around it, that the beams should not have hold in the walls of the house. And the house, when it was in building, was built of stone made ready at the quarry, and there was neither hammer, nor axe, nor any tool of iron heard in the house, when it was building. The door for the middle side chambers was in the right side of the house, and they went up by winding stairs into the middle story, and out of the middle into the third. So he built the house and finished it, and covered the house with beams and planks of cedar. And he built the stories against all the house, each 5 cubits high, and they rested on the house with timber of cedar. And the word of Jehovah came to Solomon, saying, Concerning this house which you are building, if you will walk in my statutes, and execute mine ordinances, and keep all my commandments to walk in them, then will I establish my word with you, which I spoke unto David your father, and I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will not forsake my people Israel. So Solomon built the house, and finished it. And he built the walls of the house within with boards of cedar. From the floor of the house unto the walls of the ceiling he covered them on the inside with wood. And he covered the floor of the house with boards of fir. And he built 20 cubits on the hinder part of the house with boards of cedar, from the floor unto the walls of the ceiling. He built them for it within, for an oracle, even for the most holy place. And the house, that is the temple before the oracle, was 40 cubits long. And there was cedar on the house within, carved with gourds and open flowers. All was cedar. There was no stone seen. And he prepared an oracle in the midst of the house within, to set there the ark of the covenant of Jehovah. And within the oracle was a space of 20 cubits in length, and 20 cubits in breadth, and 20 cubits in height. And he overlaid it with pure gold. And he covered the altar with cedar. So Solomon overlaid the house within with pure gold. And he drew chains of gold across before the oracle, and he overlaid it with gold. And the whole house he overlaid with gold, until all the house was finished. Also the whole altar that belonged to the oracle he overlaid with gold. And in the oracle he made 2 cherubim of olive wood, each 10 cubits high. And 5 cubits was the one wing of the cherub, and 5 cubits the other wing of the cherub. From the uttermost part of the one wing unto the uttermost part of the other were 10 cubits. And the other cherub was 10 cubits. Both the cherubim were of one measure and one form. The height of the one cherub was 10 cubits, and so was it of the other cherub. And he set the cherubim within the inner house. And the wings of the cherubim were stretched forth, so that the wing of the one touched the one wall, and the wing of the other cherub touched the other wall, and their wings touched one another in the midst of the house. And he overlaid the cherubim with gold. And he carved all the walls of the house round about with carved figures of cherubim and palm trees and open flowers, within and without. And the floor of the house he overlaid with gold, within and without. And for the entrance of the oracle he made doors of olive wood. The lintel and doorposts were a 5th part of the wall. So he made 2 doors of olive wood, and he carved upon them carvings of cherubim and palm trees and open flowers, and overlaid them with gold. And he spread the gold upon the cherubim and upon the palm trees. So also made he for the entrance of the temple doorposts of olive wood, out of a 4th part of the wall, and 2 doors of fir wood. The 2 leaves of the one door were folding, and the 2 leaves of the other door were folding. And he carved thereon cherubim and palm trees and open flowers. And he overlaid them with gold fitted upon the graven work. And he built the inner court with 3 courses of hewn stone, and a course of cedar beams. In the 4th year was the foundation of the house of Jehovah laid, in the month Ziv. And in the 11th year, in the month Bul, which is the 8th month, was the house finished, throughout all the parts of it, and according to all the fashion of it. So was he 7 years in building it. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 7. And Solomon was building his own house 13 years, and he finished all his house. For he built the house of the forest of Lebanon. The length of it was 100 cubits, and the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits, upon 4 rows of cedar pillars, with cedar beams upon the pillars. And it was covered with cedar above over the 45 beams that were upon the pillars, 15 in a row. And there were beams in 3 rows, and window was over against window in 3 ranks. And all the doors and posts were made square with beams, and window was over against window in 3 ranks. And he made the porch of pillars. The length of it was 50 cubits, and the breadth of it 30 cubits, and a porch between them, and pillars and a threshold before them. And he made the porch of the throne where he was to judge, even the porch of judgment, and it was covered with cedar from floor to floor. And his house where he was to dwell, the other court within the porch, was of the like work. He made also a house for Pharaoh's daughter, whom Solomon had taken to wife, like unto this porch. All these were of costly stones, even of hewn stone, according to measure, sawed with saws within and without, even from the foundation unto the coping, and so on the outside unto the great court. And the foundation was of costly stones, even great stones, stones of 10 cubits, and stones of 8 cubits. And above were costly stones, even hewn stone, according to measure, and cedar wood. And the great court round about had 3 courses of hewn stone, and a course of cedar beams, like as the inner court of the house of Jehovah, and the porch of the house. And King Solomon sent and fetched Hiram out of Tyre. He was the son of a widow of the tribe of Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, a worker in brass. And he was filled with wisdom and understanding and skill to work all works in brass. And he came to King Solomon and wrought all his work. For he fashioned the 2 pillars of brass, 18 cubits high apiece, and a line of 12 cubits compassed either of them about. And he made 2 capitals of molten brass, to set upon the tops of the pillars. The height of the one capital was 5 cubits, and the height of the other capital was 5 cubits. There were nets of checker work, and wreaths of chain work, for the capitals which were upon the top of the pillars, 7 for the one capital, and 7 for the other capital. So he made the pillars, and there were 2 rows round about upon the one network, to cover the capitals that were upon the top of the pillars, and so did he for the other capital. And the capitals that were upon the top of the pillars in the porch were of lily work, 4 cubits. And there were capitals above also upon the 2 pillars, close by the belly which was beside the network. And the pomegranates were 200, in rows round about upon the other capital. And he set up the pillars at the porch of the temple. And he set up the right pillar, and called the name of it Yakin. And he set up the left pillar, and called the name of it Boaz. And upon the top of the pillars was lily work. So was the work of the pillars finished. And he made the molten sea of 10 cubits from brim to brim, round in compass, and the height of it was 5 cubits. And a line of 30 cubits compassed it round about. And under the brim of it round about there were gourds which did encompass it, for 10 cubits compassing the sea round about. The gourds were in 2 rows, cast when it was cast. It stood upon 12 oxen, 3 looking toward the north, and 3 looking toward the west, and 3 looking toward the south, and 3 looking toward the east. And the sea was set upon them above, and all their hinder parts were inward. And it was a handbreadth thick, and the brim of it was wrought like the brim of a cup, like the flower of a lily. It held 2,000 baths. And he made the 10 bases of brass. 4 cubits was the length of one base, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, and 3 cubits the height of it. And the work of the bases was on this manner. they had panels, and there were panels between the ledges. And on the panels that were between the ledges were lions, oxen, and cherubim. And upon the ledges there was a pedestal above, and beneath the lions and oxen were wreaths of hanging work. And every base had 4 brazen wheels, and axles of brass, and the 4 feet of it had undersetters. Beneath the laver were the undersetters molten, with wreaths at the side of each. And the mouth of it within the capital and above was a cubit. And the mouth of it was round after the work of a pedestal, a cubit and a half. And also upon the mouth of it were gravings, and their panels were 4 square, not round. And the 4 wheels were underneath the panels, and the axle trees of the wheels were in the base, and the height of a wheel was a cubit, and half a cubit. And the work of the wheels was like the work of a chariot wheel. Their axle trees, and their felloes, and their spokes, and their naves were all molten. And there were 4 undersetters at the 4 corners of each base. The undersetters of it were of the base itself. And in the top of the base there was a round compass half a cubit high. And on the top of the base the stays of it, and the panels of it were of the same. And on the plates of the stays of it, and on the panels of it, he graved cherubim, lions, and palm trees, according to the space of each, with wreaths round about. After this manner he made the 10 bases. All of them had 1 casting, 1 measure, and 1 form. And he made 10 lavers of brass. 1 laver contained 40 baths, and every laver was 4 cubits. And upon every one of the 10 bases 1 laver. And he set the bases, 5 on the right side of the house, and 5 on the left side of the house, and he set the sea on the right side of the house eastward, toward the south. And Hiram made the lavers, and the shovels, and the basins. So Hiram made an end of doing all the work that he wrought for King Solomon in the house of Jehovah, the 2 pillars, and the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, and the 2 networks to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, and the 400 pomegranates for the 2 networks, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network, to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were upon the pillars, and the 10 bases, and the 10 lavers on the bases, and the 1 sea, and the 12 oxen under the sea, and the pots and the shovels and the basins, even all these vessels which Hiram made for King Solomon in the house of Jehovah were of burnished brass. In the plain of the Jordan did the king cast them, in the clay between Succoth and Zarethan. And Solomon left all the vessels unweighed, because they were exceeding many. The weight of the brass could not be found out. And Solomon made all the vessels that were in the house of Jehovah, the golden altar, and the table on which the showbread was, of gold. And the candlesticks, 5 on the right side and 5 on the left, before the oracle, of pure gold. And the flowers, and the lamps, and the tongs, of gold. And the cups, and the snuffers, and the basins, and the spoons, and the fire pans, of pure gold. And the hinges, both for the doors of the inner house, the most holy place, and for the doors of the house, namely of the temple, of gold. Thus all the work that King Solomon wrought in the house of Jehovah was finished. And Solomon brought in the things which David his father had dedicated, even the silver, and the gold, and the vessels, and put them in the treasuries of the house of Jehovah. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 8. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel, and all the heads of the tribes, the princes of the fathers' houses of the children of Israel, unto King Solomon in Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of the covenant of Jehovah out of the city of David, which is Zion. And all the men of Israel assembled themselves unto King Solomon at the feast, in the month Ethanim, which is the 7th month. And all the elders of Israel came, and the priests took up the ark. And they brought up the ark of Jehovah, and the tent of meeting, and all the holy vessels that were in the tent. Even these did the priests and the Levites bring up. And King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel that were assembled unto him were with him before the ark, sacrificing sheep and oxen that could not be counted nor numbered for multitude. And the priests brought the ark of the covenant of Jehovah unto its place, into the oracle of the house, to the most holy place, even under the wings of the cherubim. For the cherubim spread forth their wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubim covered the ark and the staves thereof above. And the staves were so long that the ends of the staves were seen from the holy place before the oracle. but they were not seen without, and there they are unto this day. There was nothing in the ark save the 2 tables of stone which Moses put there at Horeb, when Jehovah made a covenant with the children of Israel, when they came out of the land of Egypt. And it came to pass, when the priests were come out of the holy place, that the cloud filled the house of Jehovah, so that the priests could not stand to minister by reason of the cloud. For the glory of Jehovah filled the house of Jehovah. Then spoke Solomon, Jehovah hath said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. I have surely built you a house of habitation, a place for you to dwell in forever. And the king turned his face around, and blessed all the assembly of Israel. And all the assembly of Israel stood, and he said, Blessed be Jehovah the God of Israel, who spoke with his mouth unto David your father, and has with his hand fulfilled it, saying, Since the day that I brought forth my people Israel out of Egypt, I chose no city out of all the tribes of Israel to build a house, that my name might be there. But I chose David to be over my people Israel. Now it was in the heart of David my father to build a house for the name of Jehovah, the God of Israel. But Jehovah said unto David my father, Whereas it was in your heart to build a house for my name, you did well that it was in your heart. Nevertheless, you shall not build the house, but your son that shall come forth from your loins, he shall build the house for my name. And Jehovah has established his word that he spoke. For I am risen up in the room of David my father, and sit on the throne of Israel, as Jehovah promised, and have built the house for the name of Jehovah the God of Israel. And there have I set a place for the ark, wherein is the covenant of Jehovah, which he made with our fathers when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. And Solomon stood before the altar of Jehovah in the presence of all the assembly of Israel, and spread forth his hands toward heaven. And he said, O Jehovah, the God of Israel, there is no God like you in heaven above or on earth beneath, who keeps covenant and loving kindness with your servants that walk before you with all their heart, who has kept with your servant David my father that which you promised him, yea, which you spoke with your mouth, and have fulfilled it with your hand, as it is this day. Now therefore, O Jehovah, God of Israel, keep with thy servant David my father that which thou hast promised him, saying, There shall not fail you a man in my sight to sit on the throne of Israel, if only thy children take heed of their way, to walk before me as you have walked before me. Now therefore, O God of Israel, let thy word, I pray thee, be verified, which you spoke unto your servant David my father. But will God in very deed dwell on the earth? Behold, heaven and the heaven of heavens cannot contain you, how much less this house that I have built? Yet have you respect unto the prayer of your servant, and to his supplication, O Jehovah my God, to hearken unto the cry and to the prayer which your servant prays before you this day, that your eyes may be open toward this house night and day, even toward the place where you said, My name shall be there, to hearken unto the prayer which your servant shall pray toward this place, and hearken you to the supplication of your servant and of your people Israel, when they shall pray toward this place. Yea, hear you in heaven your dwelling place, and when you hear, forgive. If a man sin against his neighbor, and an oath be laid upon him to cause him to swear, and he come and swear before your altar in this house, then hear you in heaven, and do, and judge your servants, condemning the wicked to bring his way upon his own head, and justifying the righteous to give him according to his righteousness. When my people Israel are smitten down before the enemy, because they have sinned against you, if they turn again to you, and confess your name, and pray, and make supplication unto you in this house, then hear you in heaven, and forgive the sin of your people Israel, and bring them again into the land which you gave unto their fathers. When heaven is shut up, and there is no rain because they have sinned against you, if they pray toward this place, and confess your name, and turn from their sin, when you have afflicted them, then hear you in heaven, and forgive the sin of your servants and of your people Israel, when you teach them the good way wherein they should walk, and send rain upon your land which you have given to your people for an inheritance. If there be in the land famine, if there be pestilence, if there be blasting or mildew, locust or caterpillar, if their enemy besiege them in the land of their cities, whatsoever plague, whatsoever sickness there be, whatever prayer and supplication be made by any man, or by all your people Israel, who shall know, every man the plague of his own heart, and spread forth his hands toward this house, then hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive, and do, and render unto every man according to all his ways, whose heart you know. For you, even you only, know the hearts of all the children of men, that they may fear you all the days that they live in the land which you gave unto our fathers. Moreover, concerning the foreigner that is not of your people Israel, when he shall come out of a far country for your name's sake, for they shall hear of your great name, and of your mighty hand, and of your outstretched arm. When he shall come and pray toward this house, hear you in heaven your dwelling place, and do according to all that the foreigner calls to you for, that all the peoples of the earth may know your name, to fear you, as do your people Israel, that they may know that this house which I have built is called by your name. If your people go out to battle against their enemy by whatever way you shall send them, and they pray unto Jehovah toward the city which you have chosen, and toward the house which I have built for your name, then hear you in heaven their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. If they sin against you, for there is no man that does not sin, and you be angry with them and delivered them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captive unto the land of the enemy, far off or near, yet if they shall bethink themselves in the land where they are carried captive, and turn again, and make supplication unto you in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, We have sinned, and have done perversely, we have dealt wickedly. If they return unto you with all their heart, and with all their soul in the land of their enemies who carried them captive, and pray unto you toward their land, which you gave unto their fathers, the city which you have chosen, and the house which I have built for your name, then hear you their prayer and their supplication in heaven your dwelling place, and maintain their cause, and forgive your people who have sinned against you, and all their transgressions with which they have transgressed against you, and give them compassion before those who carried them captive, that they may have compassion on them. For they are your people, and your inheritance, which you brought forth out of Egypt, from the midst of the furnace of iron, that your eyes may be open unto the supplication of your servant, and unto the supplication of your people Israel, to hearken unto them whensoever they cry unto you. For you did separate them from among the peoples of the earth to be your inheritance, as you spoke by Moses your servant, when you brought our fathers out of Egypt, O Lord Jehovah. And it was so, when Solomon had made an end of praying all this prayer and supplication unto Jehovah, he rose from before the altar of Jehovah, from kneeling on his knees with his hands spread forth toward heaven. And he stood, and blessed all the assembly of Israel with a loud voice, saying, Blessed be Jehovah, that has given rest unto his people Israel, according to all that he promised. There has not one word failed of all his good promise, which he promised by Moses his servant. Jehovah our God be with us, as he was with our fathers. Let him not leave us, nor forsake us, that he may incline our hearts unto him, to walk in all his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his ordinances, which he commanded our fathers. And let these my words, with which I have made supplication before Jehovah, be nigh unto Jehovah our God day and night, that he maintain the cause of his servant, and the cause of his people Israel, as every day shall require, that all the people of the earth may know that Jehovah, he is God, there is none else. Let your heart therefore be perfect with Jehovah our God, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments, as at this day. And the king and all Israel with him offered sacrifice before Jehovah. And Solomon offered for the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he offered unto Jehovah, 22,000 oxen, and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all the children of Israel dedicated the house of Jehovah. The same day did the king hallow the middle of the court that was before the house of Jehovah. For there he offered the burnt offering, and the meal offering, and the fat of the peace offerings, because the brazen altar that was before Jehovah was too little to receive the burnt offering, and the meal offering, and the fat of the peace offerings. So Solomon held the feast at that time, and all Israel with him, a great assembly, from the entrance of Hamath unto the brook of Egypt, before Jehovah our God 7 days and 7 days, even 14 days. On the 8th day he sent the people away, and they blessed the king, and went unto their tents joyful and glad of heart, for all the goodness that Jehovah had showed unto David his servant, and to Israel his people. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 9. And it came to pass, when Solomon had finished the building of the house of Jehovah and the king's house, and all Solomon's desire which he was pleased to do, that Jehovah appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared to him at Gibeon. And Jehovah said to him, I have heard your prayer and your supplication that you made before me. I have hallowed this house which you have built, to put my name there forever. And my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And as for you, if you will walk before me as David your father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded you, and will keep my statutes and my ordinances, then I will establish the throne of your kingdom over Israel forever, according as I promised to David your father, saying, There shall not fail you a man upon the throne of Israel. But if you shall turn away from following me, you or your children, and not keep my commandments and my statutes which I have set before you, but shall go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. And this house, which I have hallowed for my name, will I cast out of my sight. And Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all peoples. And though this house is so high, yet shall every one that passes by it be astonished, and shall hiss, and they shall say, Why has Jehovah done this unto this land and to this house? And they shall answer, Because they forsook Jehovah their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and laid hold on other gods, and worshipped them, and served them. Therefore has Jehovah brought all this evil upon them. And it came to pass at the end of 20 years, in which Solomon had built the 2 houses, the house of Jehovah and the king's house. Now Hiram the king of Tyre had furnished Solomon with cedar trees and fir trees and with gold, according to all his desire. That then King Solomon gave Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galilee. And Hiram came out from Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, and they pleased him not. And he said, What cities are these which you have given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul unto this day. And Hiram sent to the king 60 talents of gold. And this is the reason of the levy which King Solomon raised to build the house of Jehovah, and his own house, and Millo, and the wall of Jerusalem, and Hatzor, and Megiddo, and Gezer. Pharaoh king of Egypt had gone up, and taken Gezer, and burnt it with fire, and slain the Canaanites that dwelt in the city, and given it for a portion unto his daughter, Solomon's wife. And Solomon built Gezer, and Bethhoron the nether, and Baalath, and Tamar in the wilderness, in the land, and all the store cities that Solomon had, and the cities for his chariots, and the cities for his horsemen, and that which Solomon desired to build for his pleasure in Jerusalem, and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion. As for all the people that were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, who were not of the children of Israel, their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel were not able utterly to destroy, of them did Solomon raise a levy of bondservants unto this day. But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondservants, but they were the men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and rulers of his chariots and of his horsemen. These were the chief officers that were over Solomon's work, 550, who bore rule over the people that wrought in the work. But Pharaoh's daughter came up out of the city of David unto her house which Solomon had built for her. Then did he build Millo. And 3 times in a year did Solomon offer burnt offerings and peace offerings upon the altar which he built unto Jehovah, burning incense with it upon the altar that was before Jehovah. So he finished the house. And King Solomon made a navy of ships at Ezion-Geber, which is beside Elath, on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, with the servants of Solomon. And they came to Ophir, and fetched from there gold, 420 talents, and brought it to King Solomon. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 10. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Jehovah, she came to prove him with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bore spice, and very much gold, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all the wisdom of Solomon, and the house that he had built, and the food of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up unto the house of Jehovah, there was no more spirit in her. And she said to the king, It was a true report that I heard in mine own land of your acts and your wisdom. However, I did not believe the words until I came, and my eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Your wisdom and prosperity exceed the fame which I heard. Happy are your men. Happy are these your servants, that stand continually before you, and that hear your wisdom. Blessed be Jehovah your God, who delights in you, to set you on the throne of Israel. Because Jehovah loved Israel forever, therefore he made you king, to do justice and righteousness. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices very great store, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these, which the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. And the navy also of Hiram, that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir a great plenty of almug trees and precious stones. And the king made of the almug trees pillars for the house of Jehovah, and for the king's house, harps also, and psalteries for the singers. There came no such almug trees, nor were seen unto this day. And King Solomon gave to the queen of Sheba all her desire, whatever she asked, besides that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own land, she and her servants. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold, besides that which the traders brought, and the traffic of the merchants, and of all the kings of the mingled peoples, and of the governors of the country. And King Solomon made 200 bucklers of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to 1 buckler, and he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to 1 shield. And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory, and overlaid it with the finest gold. There were 6 steps to the throne, and the top of the throne was round behind. And there were stays on either side by the place of the seat, and 2 lions standing beside the stays. And 12 lions stood there on the one side and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once every 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth in riches and in wisdom. And all the earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart. And they brought every man his tribute, vessels of silver and vessels of gold, and raiment, and armor, and spices, horses, and mules, a rate year by year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots, and 12,000 horsemen that he bestowed in the chariot cities, and with the king at Jerusalem. And the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made he to be as the sycamore trees that are in the lowland for abundance. And the horses which Solomon had were brought out of Egypt, and the king's merchants received them in droves, each drove at a price. And a chariot came up and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And so for all the kings of the Hittites, and for the kings of Syria, did they bring them out by their means. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11. Now King Solomon loved many foreign women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, concerning which Jehovah said unto the children of Israel, You shall not go among them, neither shall they come among you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. After he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with Jehovah his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and went not fully after Jehovah, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the mount that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And so did he for all his foreign wives, who burnt incense, and sacrificed unto their gods. And Jehovah was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned away from Jehovah, the God of Israel, who had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which Jehovah commanded. Wherefore Jehovah said unto Solomon, Forasmuch as this is done by you, and you have not kept my covenant and my statute which I have commanded you, I will surely rend the kingdom from you, and will give it to your servant. Notwithstanding, in your days I will not do it for David your father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of your son. However, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to your son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake which I have chosen. And Jehovah raised up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass, when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain of the host was gone up to bury the slain, and had smitten every male in Edom, for Joab and all Israel remained there 6 months, until he had cut off every male in Edom, that Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child. And they rose out of Midian, and came to Paran. And they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, who gave him a house, and appointed him victuals, and gave him land. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Tahpenes, the queen. And the sister of Tahpenes bore him Genubath his son, whom Tahpenes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in Pharaoh's house among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab the captain of the host was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, Let me depart, that I may go to my own country. Then Pharaoh said unto him, But what have you lacked with me, that, behold, you seek to go to your own country? And he answered, Nothing. However, let me depart. And God raised up another adversary unto him, Rezon, the son of Eliada, who had fled from his lord Hadadezer, king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a troop, when David slew them of Zobah. And they went to Damascus, and dwelt in it, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, besides the mischief that Hadad did. And he abhorred Israel, and reigned over Syria. And Jeroboam the son of Nebat, an Ephraimite of Zoradah, a servant of Solomon, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow, he also lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the reason why he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Millo, and repaired the breach of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon saw the young man that he was industrious, and gave him charge over all the labor of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way. Now Ahijah had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah laid hold of the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus says Jehovah the God of Israel, Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to you. But he shall have 1 tribe, for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon. And they have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my ordinances, as did David his father. However, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life, for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, who kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto you, even 10 tribes. And unto his son will I give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a lamp always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen to put my name there. And I will take you, and you shall reign according to all that your soul desires, and shall be king over Israel. And it shall be, if you will hearken to all that I command you, and will walk in my ways, and do that which is right in my eyes, to keep my statutes and my commandments as David my servant did, that I will be with you, and will build you a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto you. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam. But Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt, unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. Now the rest of the acts of Solomon, and all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 12. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat heard of it, for he was yet in Egypt, whither he had fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, and they sent and called him, that Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came, and spoke unto Rehoboam, saying, Your father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore, if you will make the grievous service of your father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, we will serve you. And he said to them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, saying, What counsel do you give me to return answer to this people? And they said unto him, If you will be a servant to this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be your servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and took counsel with the young men that were grown up with him, that stood before him. And he said to them, What counsel do you give, that we may return answer to this people who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke that your father put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spoke to him, saying, You shall say unto this people that spoke unto you, saying, Your father made our yoke heavy, but you make it lighter for us. Thus shall you speak unto them, My little finger is thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father put upon you a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day as the king bade, saying, Come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the counsel of the old men that they had given him, and spoke to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So the king hearkened not unto the people, for it was a thing brought about by Jehovah, that he might establish his word, which Jehovah spoke by Ahijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. And when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to your own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the men subject to taskwork. And all Israel stoned him to death with stones. And King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot and flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was returned, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah, and the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, that were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But the word of God came unto Shemaiah the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the rest of the people, saying, Thus says Jehovah, You shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is of me. So they hearkened unto the word of Jehovah, and returned and went their way according to the word of Jehovah. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and dwelt in it. And he went out from there and built Penuel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, Now will the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to offer sacrifices in the house of Jehovah at Jerusalem, then will the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam king of Judah, and they will kill me, and return to Rehoboam king of Judah. Whereupon the king took counsel, and made 2 calves of gold. And he said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold your gods, O Israel, which brought you up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made houses of high places, and made priests from among all the people that were not of the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like to the feast that is in Judah. And he went up unto the altar. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto the calves that he had made. And he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places that he had made. And he went up unto the altar which he had made in Bethel on the 15th day in the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart. And he ordained a feast for the children of Israel, and went up unto the altar to burn incense. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 13. And behold, there came a man of God out of Judah by the word of Jehovah unto Bethel. And Jeroboam was standing by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar by the word of Jehovah, and said, O altar, altar, thus says Jehovah, Behold, a son shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name. And upon you shall he sacrifice the priests of the high places that burn incense upon you, and men's bones shall they burn upon you. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which Jehovah has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. And it came to pass, when the king heard the saying of the man of God which he cried against the altar in Bethel, that Jeroboam put forth his hand from the altar, saying, Lay hold on him. And his hand which he put forth against him dried up, so that he could not draw it back again to him. The altar also was rent, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of God had given by the word of Jehovah. And the king answered and said unto the man of God, Entreat now the favor of Jehovah thy God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored to me again. And the man of God entreated Jehovah, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before. And the king said unto the man of God, Come home with me, and refresh yourself, and I will give you a reward. And the man of God said unto the king, If you will give me half your house, I will not go in with you, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so was it charged me by the word of Jehovah, saying, Thou shalt eat no bread, nor drink water, neither return by the way that you came. So he went another way, and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and one of his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken unto the king. Them also they told unto their father. And their father said unto them, What way did he go? Now his sons had seen what way the man of God went that came from Judah. And he said unto his sons, Saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode on it. And he went after the man of God, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said to him, Are you the man of God that came from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, Come home with me, and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with you, nor go in with you. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water with you in this place. For it was said to me by the word of Jehovah, You shall eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that you came. And he said unto him, I also am a prophet, as you are. And an angel spoke unto me by the word of Jehovah, saying, Bring him back with you to your house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied to him. So he went back with him, and did eat bread in his house, and drank water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of Jehovah came to the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus says Jehovah, Forasmuch as you have been disobedient unto the mouth of Jehovah, and have not kept the commandment which Jehovah your God commanded you, but came back, and hast eaten bread and drunk water in the place of which he said to you, Eat no bread and drink no water, your body shall not come unto the sepulchre of your fathers. And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread, and after he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass, namely, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way, and slew him. And his body was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the body. And behold, men passed by, and saw the body cast in the way, and the lion standing by the body. And they came and told it in the city where the prophet dwelt. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard of it, he said, It is the man of God who was disobedient to the mouth of Jehovah. Therefore Jehovah has delivered him unto the lion, which has torn him and slain him, according to the word of Jehovah which he spoke to him. And he spoke to his sons, saying, Saddle me the ass. And they saddled it. And he went and found his body cast in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the body. The lion had not eaten the body, nor torn the ass. And the prophet took up the body of the man of God, and laid it upon the ass, and brought it back. And he came to the city of the old prophet to mourn and to bury him. And he laid his body in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, Alas, my brother. And it came to pass, after he had buried him, that he spoke to his sons, saying, When I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the saying which he cried by the word of Jehovah against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places, which are in the cities of Samaria, shall surely come to pass. After this thing, Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again from among all the people priests of the high places. Whosoever would, he consecrated him, that there might be priests of the high places. And this thing became sin to the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off, and to destroy it from the face of the earth. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 14. At that time Abijah the son of Jeroboam fell sick. And Jeroboam said to his wife, Arise, I pray you, and disguise yourself, so that you will not be known to be the wife of Jeroboam. And get over to Shiloh. Behold, there is Ahijah the prophet, who spoke concerning me, that I should be king over this people. And take with you 10 loaves and cakes and a cruse of honey, and go to him. He will tell you what shall become of the child. And Jeroboam's wife did so, and arose, and went to Shiloh, and came to the house of Ahijah. Now Ahijah could not see, for his eyes were set by reason of his age. And Jehovah said unto Ahijah, Behold, the wife of Jeroboam comes to inquire of you concerning her son, for he is sick. Thus and thus shall you say unto her, for it will be when she comes in that she will feign herself to be another woman. And it was so, when Ahijah heard the sound of her feet as she came in at the door, that he said, Come in, wife of Jeroboam. Why do you feign yourself to be another? For I am sent to you with heavy tidings. Go, tell Jeroboam, Thus says Jehovah, the God of Israel, Forasmuch as I exalted you from among the people, and made you prince over my people Israel, and rent the kingdom away from the house of David, and gave it to you, and yet you have not been as my servant David, who kept my commandments, and who followed me with all his heart, to do what was right in my eyes, but have done evil above all that were before you, and have gone and made you other gods and molten images to provoke me to anger, and have cast me behind your back. Therefore, behold, I will bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam every man-child, him that is shut up, and him that is left at large in Israel, and will utterly sweep away the house of Jeroboam, as a man sweeps away dung, till all be gone. He that dies of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and he that dies in the fields shall the birds of the heavens eat, for Jehovah has spoken it. Arise, therefore, get you to your house, and when your feet enter into the city, the child shall die, and all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him. For he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave, because in him there is found some good thing toward Jehovah, the God of Israel, in the house of Jeroboam. Moreover, Jehovah will raise him up a king over Israel, who shall cut off the house of Jeroboam that day. But what? Even now. For Jehovah will smite Israel, as a reed is shaken in the water, and he will root up Israel out of this good land which he gave to their fathers, and will scatter them beyond the river, because they have made there a Sherim, provoking Jehovah to anger. And he will give up Israel, because of the sins of Jeroboam which he has sinned, and with which he made Israel to sin. And Jeroboam's wife arose and departed, and came to Tirzah. And as she came to the threshold of the house, the child died. And all Israel buried him, and mourned for him, according to the word of Jehovah, which he spoke by his servant Ahijah the prophet. And the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he warred, and how he reigned, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. And the days which Jeroboam reigned were 22, and he slept with his fathers, and Nadab his son reigned in his stead. And Rehoboam the son of Solomon reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Jehovah had chosen, out of all the tribes of Israel, to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah, the Ammonitess. And Judah did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and they provoked him to jealousy with their sins which they committed, above all that their fathers had done. For they also built them high places, and pillars, and Asherim, on every high hill, and under every green tree. And there were also Sodomites in the land. They did according to all the abominations of the nations which Jehovah drove out before the children of Israel. And it came to pass, in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, that Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. And he took away the treasures of the house of Jehovah, and the treasures of the king's house. He even took away all. And he took away all the shields of gold which Solomon had made. And King Rehoboam made in their stead shields of brass, and committed them to the hands of the captains of the guard, who kept the door of the king's house. And it was so, that as oft as the king went into the house of Jehovah, the guards bore them, and brought them back into the guard chamber. Now the rest of the acts of Rehoboam, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And his mother's name was Naamah the Ammonitess. And Abijam, his son, reigned in his stead. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 15. Now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam the son of Nebat began Abijam to reign over Judah. 3 years reigned he in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Maacah, the daughter of Abishalom. And he walked in all the sins of his father which he had done before him. And his heart was not perfect with Jehovah his God, as the heart of David his father. Nevertheless, for David's sake did Jehovah his God give him a lamp in Jerusalem, to set up his son after him, and to establish Jerusalem. Because David did that which was right in the eyes of Jehovah, and turned not aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, save only in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. Now there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days of his life. And the rest of the acts of Abijam, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there was war between Abijam and Jeroboam. And Abijam slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. And Asa his son reigned in his stead. And in the 20th year of Jeroboam king of Israel began Asa to reign over Judah. And 41 years he reigned in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Maacah, the daughter of Avishalom. And Asa did that which was right in the eyes of Jehovah, as did David his father. And he put away the Sodomites out of the land, and removed all the idols that his fathers had made. And also Maacah his mother he removed from being queen, because she had made an abominable image for an Asherah. And Asa cut down her image and burnt it at the brook Kidron. But the high places were not taken away. Nevertheless the heart of Asa was perfect with Jehovah all his days. And he brought into the house of Jehovah the things that his father had dedicated, and all the things that himself had dedicated, silver and gold and vessels. And there was war between Asa and Baasha king of Israel all their days. And Baasha king of Israel went up against Judah, and built Ramah, that he might not suffer anyone to go out or come in to Asa king of Judah. Then Asa took all the silver and the gold that were left in the treasures of the house of Jehovah, and the treasures of the king's house, and delivered them into the hand of his servants. And King Asa sent them to Benhadad, the son of Tabrimon, the son of Hazion, king of Syria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, There is a league between me and you, between my father and your father. Behold, I have sent unto you a present of silver and gold. Go, break your league with Baasha, king of Israel, that he may depart from me. And Benhadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of his army against the cities of Israel, and smote Ijon, and Dan, and Abel Bathmaacah, and all Kinneroth, with all the land of Naphtali. And it came to pass, when Baasha heard thereof, that he left off building Ramah, and dwelt in Tirzah. Then King Asa made a proclamation unto all Judah. None was exempted. And they carried away the stones of Ramah, and the timber thereof, with which Baasha had built. And King Asa built with it Geba of Benjamin, and Mizpah. Now the rest of all the acts of Asa, and all his might, and all that he did, and the cities which he built, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Judah? But in the time of his old age he was diseased in his feet. And Asa slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father, and Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his stead. And Nadab the son of Jeroboam began to reign over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa king of Judah. And he reigned over Israel 2 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and walked in the way of his father, and in his sin with which he made Israel to sin. And Baasha the son of Ahijah of the house of Issachar, conspired against him, and Baasha smote him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. For Nadab and all Israel were laying siege to Gibbethon. Even in the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, did Baasha slay him, and reigned in his stead. And it came to pass that as soon as he was king, he smote all the house of Jeroboam. He left not to Jeroboam any that breathed, until he had destroyed him, according unto the saying of Jehovah, which he spoke by his servant Ahijah the Shilonite. For the sins of Jeroboam which he sinned, and with which he made Israel to sin, because of his provocation with which he provoked Jehovah, the God of Israel, to anger. Now the rest of the acts of Nadab, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And there was war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, all their days. In the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, began Baasha, the son of Ahijah, to reign over all Israel in Tirzah, and reigned 24 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and walked in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin with which he made Israel to sin. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 16. And the word of Jehovah came to Jehu the son of Hanani against Baasha, saying, Forasmuch as I exalted you out of the dust, and made you prince over my people Israel, and you have walked in the ways of Jeroboam, and have made my people Israel to sin, to provoke me to anger with their sins. Behold, I will utterly sweep away Baasha and his house, and I will make your house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Him that dies of Baasha in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dies of his in the field shall the birds of the heavens eat. Now the rest of the acts of Baasha, and what he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Baasha slept with his fathers, and was buried in Tirzah. And Elah, his son, reigned in his stead. And moreover by the prophet Jehu the son of Hanani came the word of Jehovah against Baasha and against his house, both because of all the evil that he did in the sight of Jehovah, to provoke him to anger with the works of his hands, in being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he smote him. In the 26th year of Asa, king of Judah, began Elah the son of Baasha to reign over Israel in Tirzah. And he reigned 2 years. And his servant Zimri, captain of half his chariots, conspired against him. Now he was in Tirzah, drinking himself drunk in the house of Arzah, who was over the household in Tirzah. And Zimri went in and smote him, and killed him, in the 27th year of Asa king of Judah, and reigned in his stead. And it came to pass, when he began to reign, as soon as he sat on the throne, that he smote all the house of Baasha. He left him not a single man-child, neither of his kinsfolks, nor of his friends. Thus did Zimri destroy all the house of Baasha, according to the word of Jehovah, which he spoke against Baasha by Jehu the prophet, for all the sins of Baasha, and the sins of Elah his son, which they sinned, and wherewith they made Israel to sin, to provoke Jehovah, the God of Israel, to anger with their vanities. Now the rest of the acts of Elah, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? In the 27th year of Asa, king of Judah, did Zimri reign 7 days in Tirzah. Now the people were encamped against Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. And the people that were encamped heard say, Zimri has conspired, and has also smitten the king. Wherefore all Israel made Omri, the captain of the king's host, king over Israel that day in the camp. And Omri went up from Gibbethon, and all Israel with him, and they besieged Tirzah. And it came to pass, when Zimri saw that the city was taken, that he went into the castle of the king's house, and burnt the king's house over him with fire, and died, for his sins which he sinned in doing that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, in walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he did, to make Israel to sin. Now the rest of the acts of Zimri, and his treason that he wrought, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? Then were the people of Israel divided into 2 parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, the son of Ginath, to make him king, and half followed Omri. But the people that followed Omri prevailed against the people that followed Tibni, the son of Ginath. So Tibni died, and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa king of Judah began Omri to reign over Israel, and reigned 12 years. 6 years he reigned in Tirzah. And he bought the hill Samaria of Shemer for 2 talents of silver. And he built on the hill, and called the name of the city which he built after the name of Shemer, the owner of the hill, Samaria. And Omri did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and dealt wickedly above all that were before him. For he walked in all the way of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and in his sins with which he made Israel to sin, to provoke Jehovah, the God of Israel, to anger with their vanities. Now the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and his might that he showed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria, and Ahab his son reigned in his stead. And in the 38th year of Asa king of Judah began Ahab the son of Omri to reign over Israel. And Ahab the son of Omri reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. And Ahab the son of Omri did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah above all that were before him. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, that he took to wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and went and served Baal and worshipped him. And he reared up an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. And Ahab made the Asherah. And Ahab did yet more to provoke Jehovah, the God of Israel, to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him. In his days did Hiel the Beth-elite build Jericho. He laid the foundations of it with the loss of Abiram his firstborn, and set up the gates of it with the loss of his second son, Segub, according to the word of Jehovah, which he spoke by Joshua the son of Nun. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 17. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the sojourners of Gilead, said unto Ahab, As Jehovah the God of Israel lives, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. And the word of Jehovah came unto him, saying, Get thee hence, and turn eastward, and hide yourself by the brook Cherith, that is, before the Jordan. And it shall be that you shall drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there. So he went and did according to the word of Jehovah, for he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith, that is, before the Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. And it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up, because there was no rain in the land. And the word of Jehovah came unto him, saying, Arise, get to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow there to sustain you. So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, a widow was there gathering sticks, and he called to her, and said, Fetch me, I pray you, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, Bring me, I pray you, a morsel of bread in your hand. And she said, As Jehovah your God lives, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in the jar, and a little oil in the cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. And Elijah said to her, Fear not, go and do as you have said, but make me of it a little cake first, and bring it forth unto me, and afterward make for yourself and your son. For thus says Jehovah, the God of Israel, The jar of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that Jehovah sends rain upon the earth. And she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days. The jar of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of Jehovah, which he spoke by Elijah. And it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick. And his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. And she said to Elijah, What have I to do with you, O man of God? You are come unto me to bring my sin to remembrance, and to slay my son. And he said to her, Give me your son. And he took him out of her bosom, and carried him up into the chamber, where he abode, and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto Jehovah, and said, O Jehovah my God, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourn, by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto Jehovah, and said, O Jehovah my God, I pray you, Let this child's soul come into him again. And Jehovah hearkened unto the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. And Elijah took the child, and brought him down out of the chamber into the house, and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, See, your son lives. And the woman said to Elijah, Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of Jehovah in your mouth is truth. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 18. And it came to pass after many days that the word of Jehovah came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show yourself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Elijah went to show himself unto Ahab, and the famine was sore in Samaria. And Ahab called Obadiah, who was over the household. Now Obadiah feared Jehovah greatly. For it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of Jehovah, that Obadiah took 100 prophets, and hid them by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said unto Obadiah, Go through the land, unto all the fountains of water, and unto all the brooks. Perhaps we may find grass, and save the horses and mules alive, that we lose not all the beasts. So they divided the land between them to pass throughout it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. And as Obadiah was in the way, behold, Elijah met him. And he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Is it you, my lord Elijah? And he answered him, It is I. Go, tell your lord, Behold, Elijah is here. And he said, How have I sinned, that you would deliver your servant into the hand of Ahab to slay me? As Jehovah your God lives, there is no nation or kingdom where my Lord has not sent to seek you. And when they said, He is not here, he took an oath of the kingdom and nation, that they found you not. And now you say, Go tell your Lord, Behold, Elijah is here. And it will come to pass, as soon as I am gone from you, that the Spirit of Jehovah will carry you whither I know not. And so when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find you, he will slay me. But I, your servant, fear Jehovah from my youth. Was it not told my Lord what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of Jehovah? How I hid 100 men of Jehovah's prophets by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now you say, Go tell your Lord, Behold, Elijah is here, and he will slay me. And Elijah said, As Jehovah of hosts lives, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself unto him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab, and told him. And Ahab went to meet Elijah. And it came to pass, when Ahab saw Elijah, that Ahab said unto him, Is it you, you troubler of Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but you and your father's house, in that you have forsaken the commandments of Jehovah, and have followed the Baalim. Now therefore send, and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of Asherah 400, that eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Elijah came near unto all the people, and said, How long go ye limping between the two sides? If Jehovah be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only, am left a prophet of Jehovah. But Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under it. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under. And call you on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of Jehovah. And the God that answers by fire, let him be God. And all the people answered and said, It is well spoken. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, Choose you 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for you are many, and call on the name of your God, but put no fire under. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning even until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us! But there was no voice, nor any that answered. And they leaped about the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them, and said, Cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is musing, or he is gone aside, or he is on a journey, or perhaps he sleeps, and must be awakened. And they cried aloud, and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lances, till the blood gushed out upon them. And it was so, when midday was past, that they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening oblation. But there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Elijah said unto all the people, Come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him. And he repaired the altar of Jehovah that was thrown down. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of Jehovah came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Jehovah. And he made a trench about the altar, as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid it on the wood. And he said, Fill 4 jars with water, and pour it on the burnt offering, and on the wood. And he said, Do it the 2nd time. And they did it the 2nd time. And he said, Do it the 3rd time. And they did it the 3rd time. And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening oblation, that Elijah the prophet came near, and said, O Jehovah, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Jehovah, hear me, that this people may know that you, Jehovah, are God, and that you have turned their hearts back again. Then the fire of Jehovah fell, and consumed the burnt offering, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, Jehovah, he is God. Jehovah, he is God. And Elijah said unto them, Take the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape. And they took them. And Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon, and slew them there. And Elijah said unto Ahab, Get yourself up, eat and drink, for there is the sound of abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and to drink. And Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he bowed himself down upon the earth, and put his face between his knees. And he said to his servant, Go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up, and looked, and said, There is nothing. And he said, Go again 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time that he said, Behold, there arises a cloud out of the sea, as small as a man's hand. And he said, Go up, say unto Ahab, Make ready your chariot, and get you down, that the rain stop you not. And it came to pass in a little while that the heavens grew black with clouds and winds, and there was a great rain. And Ahab rode, and went to Jezreel. And the hand of Jehovah was on Elijah, and he girded up his loins, and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 19. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, So that the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough. Now, O Jehovah, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. And he lay down and slept under a juniper tree. And behold, an angel touched him, and said to him, Arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was at his head a cake baked on the coals, and a cruse of water. And he did eat and drink, and laid him down again. And the angel of Jehovah came again the second time, and touched him, and said, Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for you. And he arose, and ate, and drank, and went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of God. And he came there unto a cave, and lodged there. And behold, the word of Jehovah came to him, and he said unto him, Why are you here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for Jehovah the God of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And he said, Go forth and stand upon the mount before Jehovah. And behold, Jehovah passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and broke in pieces the rocks before Jehovah. But Jehovah was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But Jehovah was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But Jehovah was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still, small voice. And it was so, when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle, and went out, and stood in the entrance of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him, and said, What are you doing here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for Jehovah the God of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And Jehovah said unto him, Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus. And when you come, you shall anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu the son of Nimshi you shall anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel-Meholah shalt thou anoint to be prophet in your place. And it shall come to pass, that he that escapes from the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and he that escapes from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet will I leave me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him. So he departed from there, and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he with the 12th. And Elijah passed over unto him, and cast his mantle upon him. And he left the oxen, and ran after Elijah, and said, Let me, I pray you, kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow you. And he said unto him, Go back again, for what have I done to you? And he returned from following him, and took the yoke of oxen, and slew them, and boiled their flesh with the instruments of the oxen, and gave unto the people, and they did eat. Then he arose, and went after Elijah, and ministered unto him. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 20. And Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, gathered all his host together. And there were 32 kings with him, and horses and chariots. And he went up and besieged Samaria, and fought against it. And he sent messengers to Ahab, king of Israel, into the city, and said unto him, Thus says Ben-Hadad, Your silver and your gold are mine. Your wives also and your children, even the goodliest, are mine. And the king of Israel answered and said, It is according to your saying, my lord, O king. I am yours, and all that I have. And the messengers came again, and said, Thus says Ben-Hadad, I sent indeed unto you, saying, You shall deliver me your silver and your gold and your wives and your children. But I will send my servants unto you tomorrow about this time, and they shall search your house and the houses of your servants. And it shall be that whatsoever is pleasant in your eyes, they shall put it in their hand and take it away. Then the king of Israel called all the elders of the land and said, Mark, I pray you, and see how this man seeks mischief. For he sent unto me for my wives and for my children and for my silver and my gold, and I denied him not. And all the elders and all the people said unto him, Don't listen, nor consent. Wherefore he said unto the messengers of Ben-Hadad, Tell my lord the king, all that you did send for to your servants at the first I will do, but this thing I may not do. And the messengers departed and brought him word again. And Benhadad sent unto him, saying, The gods do so unto me, and more also, if the dust of Samaria shall suffice for handfuls, for all the people that follow me. And the king of Israel answered and said, Tell him, let not him that puts on his armor boast himself as he that takes it off. And it came to pass, when Benhadad heard this message, as he was drinking, he and the kings in the pavilions, that he said unto his servants, Set yourselves in array. And they set themselves in array against the city. And behold, a prophet came near unto Ahab king of Israel, and said, Thus saith Jehovah, Have you seen all this great multitude? Behold, I will deliver it into your hand this day, and you shall know that I am Jehovah. And Ahab said, By whom? And he said, Thus saith Jehovah, By the young men of the princes of the provinces. Then he said, Who shall begin the battle? And he answered, You. Then he mustered the young men of the princes of the provinces, and they were 232. And after them he mustered all the people, even all the children of Israel, being 7,000. And they went out at noon. But Benhadad was drinking himself drunk in the pavilions, he and the kings, the 32 kings that helped him. And the young men of the princes of the provinces went out first. And Benhadad sent out, and they told him, saying, There are men come out from Samaria. And he said, Whether they are come out for peace, take them alive, or whether they are come out for war, take them alive. So these went out of the city, the young men of the princes of the provinces, and the army which followed them. And they slew every one his man. And the Syrians fled, and Israel pursued them. And Benhadad the king of Syria escaped on a horse with horsemen. And the king of Israel went out, and smote the horses and chariots, and slew the Syrians with a great slaughter. And the prophet came near to the king of Israel, and said to him, Go, strengthen yourself, and mark, and see what you do. For at the return of the year the king of Syria will come up against you. And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, Their God is a God of the hills, therefore they were stronger than us. But let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. And do this thing, take the kings away, every man out of his place, and put captains in their place. And number yourself an army, like the army that you have lost, horse for horse and chariot for chariot. And we will fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. And he listened to their voice, and did so. And it came to pass at the return of the year that Benhadad mustered the Syrians, and went back up to Aphek to fight against Israel. And the children of Israel were mustered, and were victualled, and went against them. And the children of Israel encamped before them like 2 little flocks of kids. But the Syrians filled the country. And a man of God came near, and spoke unto the king of Israel, and said, Thus says Jehovah, Because the Syrians have said, Jehovah is a God of the hills, but he is not a God of the valleys. Therefore will I deliver all this great multitude into your hand, and you shall know that I am Jehovah. And they encamped one over against the other 7 days. And so it was, that in the 7th day the battle was joined. And the children of Israel slew of the Syrians 100,000 footmen in one day. But the rest fled to Aphek, into the city, and the wall fell upon 27,000 men that were left. And Benhadad fled, and came into the city, into an inner chamber. And his servants said unto him, Behold now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are merciful kings. Let us, we pray thee, put sackcloth on our loins and ropes upon our heads, and go out to the king of Israel. Perhaps he will save your life. So they girded sackcloth on their loins, and put ropes on their heads, and came to the king of Israel, and said, Your servant Benhadad says, I pray you, let me live. And he said, Is he yet alive? He is my brother. Now the men were watching for a sign, and they quickly took it up from him, and said, Yes, your brother Benhadad. Then he said, Go and bring him. Then Benhadad came forth to him, and he caused him to come up into the chariot. And Benhadad said unto him, The cities which my father took from your father I will restore, and you shall make streets for yourself in Damascus, as my father made in Samaria. "And I," said Ahab, "will let you go with this covenant." So he made a covenant with him, and let him go. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said unto his fellow by the word of Jehovah, Smite me, I pray you. And the man refused to smite him. Then he said unto him, Because you have not obeyed the voice of Jehovah, behold, as soon as you are departed from me, a lion shall slay you. And as soon as he was departed from him, a lion found him, and slew him. Then he found another man, and said, Smite me, I pray you. And the man smote him, smiting and wounding him. So the prophet departed, and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with his headband over his eyes. And as the king passed by, he cried unto the king, and said, Your servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside, and brought a man unto me, and said, Keep this man. If by any means he be missing, then shall your life be for his life, or else you shall pay a talent of silver. And as your servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shall your judgment be. You yourself have decided it. And he hasted, and took the headband away from his eyes. And the king of Israel discerned that he was of the prophets. And he said unto him, Thus says Jehovah, Because you have let go out of your hand the man whom I had devoted to destruction, therefore your life shall go for his life, and your people for his people. And the king of Israel went to his house heavy and displeased, and came to Samaria. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 21. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab king of Samaria. And Ahab spoke to Naboth, saying, Give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near to my house. And I will give you for it a better vineyard than it. Or, if it seems good to you, I will give you the worth of it in money. And Naboth said to Ahab, Jehovah forbid it me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid himself down upon his bed, and turned away his face, and would eat no bread. But Jezebel his wife came to him, and said, Why is your spirit so sad that you eat no bread? And he said to her, Because I spoke to Naboth the Jezreelite, and said to him, Give me your vineyard for money, or else, if it pleases you, I will give you another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give you my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said to him, Do you govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let your heart be merry. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name, and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city, and that dwelt with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters, saying, Proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people, and set 2 men, base fellows, before him, and let them bear witness against him, saying, You cursed God and the king, and then carry him out, and stone him to death. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who dwelt in his city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them, according as it was written in the letters which she had sent unto them. They proclaimed a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. And the 2 men, the base fellows, came in and sat before him. And those base fellows bore witness against him, against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth cursed God and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city, and stoned him to death with stones. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned, and is dead. And it came to pass, when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give you for money, for Naboth is not alive, but dead. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, to take possession of it. And the word of Jehovah came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Arise, go down to meet Ahab king of Israel, who dwells in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, where he is gone down to take possession of it. And you shall speak to him, saying, Thus says Jehovah, Have you killed and also taken possession? And you shall speak unto him, saying, Thus says Jehovah, In the place where dogs licked the blood of Naboth, shall dogs lick your blood, even yours. And Ahab said to Elijah, Have you found me, O my enemy? And he answered, I have found you, because you have sold yourself to do that which is evil in the sight of Jehovah. Behold, I will bring evil upon you, and I will utterly sweep you away, and cut off from Ahab every man-child, and him that is shut up, and him that is left at large in Israel. And I will make your house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahijah, for the provocation with which you have provoked me to anger, and made Israel to sin. And of Jezebel also spoke Jehovah, saying, The dog shall eat Jezebel by the rampart of Jezreel. He that dies of Ahab in the city shall the dogs eat, and he that dies in the field shall the birds of the heavens eat. But there was none like unto Ahab, who did sell himself to do that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. And he did very abominably in following idols, according to all that the Amorites did, whom Jehovah cast out before the children of Israel. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard those words, that he rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his flesh, and fasted, and lay in sackcloth, and went softly. And the word of Jehovah came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Do you see how Ahab humbles himself before me? Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's day will I bring the evil upon his house. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 22. And they continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel. And it came to pass in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel said to his servants, Do you know that Ramoth-Gilead is ours? And we are still, and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria? And he said unto Jehoshaphat, Will you go with me to battle to Ramoth-Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as you are, my people as your people, my horses as your horses. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire first, I pray you, for the word of Jehovah. Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said to them, Shall I go against Ramoth-Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, Go up, for the Lord will deliver it into the hand of the king. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of Jehovah besides, that we may inquire of him? And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man by whom we may inquire of Jehovah, Micaiah the son of Imlah. But I hate him, for he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so. Then the king of Israel called an officer and said, Fetch quickly Micaiah the son of Imlah. Now the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat the king of Judah were sitting each on his throne, arrayed in their robes, in an open place at the entrance of the gate of Samaria. And all the prophets were prophesying before them. And Zedekiah the son of Kenaanah made him horns of iron, and said, Thus says Jehovah, With these you shall push the Syrians, until they be consumed. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth-Gilead and prosper, for Jehovah will deliver it into the hand of the king. And the messenger that went to call Micaiah spoke to him, saying, Behold now, the words of the prophets declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let your word, I pray you, be like the word of one of them, and speak good. And Micaiah said, As Jehovah lives, what Jehovah says to me, that will I speak. And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth-Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? And he answered him, Go up and prosper, and Jehovah will deliver it into the hand of the king. And the king said unto him, How many times shall I adjure you that you speak unto me nothing but the truth in the name of Jehovah? And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the mountains, as sheep that have no shepherd. And Jehovah said, These have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell you that he would not prophesy good concerning me, but evil? And Micaiah said, Therefore, hear you the word of Jehovah. I saw Jehovah sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And Jehovah said, Who shall entice Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said after this manner, and another after that manner. And there came forth a spirit, and stood before Jehovah, and said, I will entice him. And Jehovah said unto him, How? And he said, I will go forth, and will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, You shall entice him, and shall prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, Jehovah has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these your prophets, and Jehovah has spoken evil concerning you. Then Zedekiah, the son of Chenaanah, came near, and smote Micaiah on the cheek, and said, Which way went the Spirit of Jehovah from me to speak to you? And Micaiah said, Behold, you shall see on that day, when you shall go into an inner chamber to hide yourself. And the king of Israel said, Take Micaiah, and carry him back unto Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joash the king's son, and say, Thus says the king, Put this fellow in prison, and feed him with the bread of affliction, and with water of affliction, until I come in peace. And Micaiah said, If you return at all in peace, Jehovah has not spoken by me. And he said, Hear, you people, all of you. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat the king of Judah went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and go into the battle, but you put on your robes. And the king of Israel disguised himself and went into the battle. Now the king of Syria had commanded the 32 captains of his chariots, saying, Fight neither with small nor great, save only with the king of Israel. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, Surely it is the king of Israel. And they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw that it was not the king of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. And a certain man drew his bow at a venture, and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the armor. Wherefore he said to the driver of his chariot, Turn your hand, and carry me out of the host, for I am sore wounded. And the battle increased that day, and the king was stayed up in his chariot against the Syrians, and died at evening. And the blood ran out of the wound into the bottom of the chariot. And there went a cry throughout the host about the going down of the sun, saying, Every man to his city, and every man to his country. So the king died, and was brought to Samaria. And they buried the king in Samaria. And they washed the chariot by the pool of Samaria, and the dogs licked up his blood. Now the harlots washed themselves there, according unto the word of Jehovah which he spoke. Now the rest of the acts of Ahab, and all that he did, and the ivory house which he built, and all the cities that he built, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Ahab slept with his fathers, and Ahaziah his son reigned in his stead. And Jehoshaphat the son of Asa began to reign over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in all the ways of Asa his father. He turned not aside from it, doing that which was right in the eyes of Jehovah. However, the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. And Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Israel. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, and his might that he showed, and how he warred, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And the remnant of the Sodomites that remained in the days of his father Asa, he put away out of the land. And there was no king in Edom. A deputy was king. Jehoshaphat made ships of Tarshish to go to Ophir for gold. But they did not go, for the ships were broken at Ezion-Geber. Then said Ahaziah the son of Ahab unto Jehoshaphat, Let my servants go with your servants in the ships. But Jehoshaphat would not. And Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. And Jehoram his son reigned in his stead. Ahaziah the son of Ahab began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 17th year of Jehoshaphat king of Judah, and he reigned 2 years over Israel. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and walked in the way of his father, and in the way of his mother, and in the way of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, wherein he made Israel to sin. And he served Baal, and worshipped him, and provoked to anger Jehovah, the God of Israel, according to all that his father had done.